One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Each week on Echoes of History, we uncover the epic stories that inspire Assassin's Creed. We're stepping into feudal Japan in our special series Chasing Shadows, where samurai warlords and shinobi spies teach us the tactics and skills needed not only to survive, but to conquer. Whether you're preparing for Assassin's Creed Shadows or fascinated by history and great stories, listen to Echoes of History, a Ubisoft podcast brought to you by History Hit. There are new episodes every week.
Shall we begin?
Football Feast.
I knew we was gonna beat them clowns.
Oh no!
Oh well.
The game is over. The season can't end like that.
Hashtag Faith Radio.
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah!
Hey, have a seat for a second.
Thank you.
Dan Guerrero.
Thinking of those days gone by now. So music in the air. Life was good then it had meaning. We danced without a care.
Oh, good.
There I met you, our closest friends. Whose eyes?
No!
Special place.
Happy Friday Football Feast. But Alec Lewis here for Alec! But Alec Lewis here for the initials. Did you hear any? How'd he do?
Well, I heard him get the first one, and then I believe it was just an absolute disaster from there on out. A couple of brutal answers.
Did he giggle his way through it?
Yeah, he was typical, quick to laugh, self-deprecating, and he had absolutely no chance. Apparently, it was a runaway for Mr. Hockey today.
Hey,
he was on a runaway to a vacation. So,
oh, he is?
Fun initials game. Now is Alec going to just hang? Why doesn't Alec just co-host 9 to noon today? Since he's already in the building.
I offered it,
and
he declined,
and he's going to return at 11.
Speaking of vacations, good morning, Chad Greenway.
Good morning.
I've been to places in the Caribbean, and I know you either still go to or have been to a Bahamanian spot several times, and you love it, right?
Is this Lieber's spot?
Is it his chair?
Well, you own a Galapagos Island, don't you?
I mean, I wish. Yeah, I've been to a Bahamian spot a few times.
Well, here's the origin of this, and good morning.
And good morning.
Nordo and I were chatting, and he mentioned Chris Hockey won initials, and Chris Hockey's going on vacation. And I don't know where he's going on vacation, but it made me think, did you happen to see either via the news or anything on social media yesterday about the disintegration of SpaceX?
I did see
rocket ship.
Yes,
Okay.
I saw that. Yep.
Well, so there are like videos people are taking from South Florida and all throughout the Caribbean. Now, I've never been to Turks and Caicos.
I have.
But have you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there were a couple of videos, with like the parts of it and just the disintegration in process just coming down super slowly. And I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at the beach my man was on, and then like these tiki huts.
Yeah, I'm into that.
And then I'm like this beautiful pinkish white sand that's just like, wow, even on ratty feet like mine. I mean, that would feel so good. I'm like, Turks and Caicos, though.
It's that time of year. Get that snowstorm this week.
You like it there?
Another snowstorm coming next week. Mm-hmm. I did like it very much there.
Did you pay for it?
Beautiful. I did pay for it, and it was not inexpensive.
Well, you got it into your pockets.
I got in my pockets a little bit.
I'm playing with
that's happened a lot these days.
Up here making you sound cheap. This is Chad Greenway, courtesy of Grey Duck Vodka and Grey Duck Spirits. And I'm Paul Allen. Nordo produces. This is the Friday Football Feast. Charges at a rest stop in New Mexico right now, just waiting outside the door.
So wait, did he drive?
knocks.
Wait, did he drive past Utah? Where's he at? He's in Utah, right? Is that his deal?
Yeah, it's an RV. It's like Wyoming.
So he's just wherever. That's
it's
right.
Beautiful, and obviously all of this is in jest. Nordo in his rap on the show yesterday made some reference that still makes me giggle about the secret password for the rest stop is 3 knocks.
3 knocks.
Knock 3 times. And church with whom is the person you'll spend an evening.
A little Dumb and Dumber action there.
Yeah, that was cool. Are you catching any of this high-end high school hockey action?
I am, yes. Love watching it. Love it. It's. I think somebody mentioned this online yesterday. That it's maybe, if not, I think it has to be the best high school tournament in the country, right? I mean, it's got to be up there. Just incredible. I think, watching the girls last weekend and then watching the boys this weekend, to watch just the high-end talent, it's fun to see. Obviously, my kids play hoops, but, love watching the kids play.
The CIF is what I believe it's still called in California, Northern and Southern California. And this is under the assumption they still do this. The CIF, the culmination of the best high school basketball team in SoCal, meeting the best high school basketball team in NoCal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, wow.
They used to do it at the Forum or the Sports Arena where the Clippers play. I think they do it now at Staples.
No talent there.
Not much there, right?
Zero.
But it's a big bracket. And so say you got 32, 16 on one side, 16 up north. And then it used to be like some of the schools would be named Modern Day down by Huntington Beach. Northern California, they have a school named De La Salle so when they would meet, but I can't, when it comes to, because California is so big and there's just so much going on, the intimacy of this at XL Energy Center, and then when you get paid off with good games.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was an 8-2 and there was like a 6-2 or something. But then with those second games yesterday, the AA and the top seed Moorhead, Kevin Gorg joins 9 to noon about 35 minutes from now, and he's doing excellent work on TV. Likewise for Zacho on the radio calling the games, and we're going to discuss this more in depth. But Moorhead, the top seed, it was interesting to watch. Lakeville South is an 8. So, I mean, that's hockey. An 8 seed can win the Stanley Cup like the LA Kings did like a decade ago. It's the most unpredictable of the core 4, basketball, football, hockey, and baseball, in my estimation. But like Lakeville South's winning like 4-2, and it's like is the one going to go down? Well, then you looked at it like a little more critically, with all due respect to the kids who took the L. They hadn't broken a sweat.
Yeah.
It's like
Moorhead's like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, let's go.
Didn't you feel that?
Yeah, a little bit.
And they went from like a 6 to a 9.5, put the pedal to the metal. I'm like, damn, look at these kids go.
Yeah, something called Mason Kraft, I think, had 4. And then you got a Cullen son, Matt Cullen's son from Moorhead.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'd like to see more about how the Texas State football tournament.
I was thinking that.
Because I think,
that's big time.
And so, but we're talking, the population difference is so massive, Texas to Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I'd almost have to say the way that this takes over Minnesota, this takes over the X.
Yep.
that has to be comparable to how nutty things get down in Texas with pigskin.
Yeah, I get them. I've seen videos and watched games. I mean, those games are televised. You can get them maybe up here on regional stuff, and to watch that, to see the volume of people is crazy.
You think?
But I mean, I think just the pageantry of the hockey. It's the state of hockey.
Yes.
It's the high drama, the overtime games. I mean, it's
you have
nuts.
a handful of former NHL players on benches coaching their sons.
And can we talk about the hair yesterday? I mean, just absolutely exquisite.
Well, and maybe this is a situation that takes place yearly, but there was a line drawn in the sand yesterday by a couple of schools who weren't having anything to do with the hair. Yeah, St. Thomas Academy came out. No, we like our hair.
Yeah, high and tight.
Edina. No, it's. Yep. I mean, have you seen the prices at salons on 50th and France?
Well, even the first
we ain't
game,
trying to mess with our hair.
The first game was Stillwater and Andover. I'm pretty sure all of Andover looked like they had dipped their heads in a vat of peroxide.
Yes.
And Stillwater just rolls out, no, we got Thomas Vanek on our bench. We're just going to handle business.
Do with the high school, the Texas State high school football tournament, or whatever incarnation thereof there is. In comparison to like the Minnesota highest level state high school football tournament, do you think in Texas they run student body left 30 times a game?
I'm going to say no.
I always love that one. Do you think the run pass ratio's 95-5 down there Texas way?
I don't think Drew Brees came out of that system. Just a guess. I don't think Baker Mayfield did either.
Is the fact that is it still, it's age old, but is it still accurate where like Texas elite high school football, South Florida. All right, you got to vet out the kids pretty well. Dade County kids have an opinion, but you have a lot of skill and a lot of speed. Like up Jacksonville way. I can't remember the name of the high school. Like Jabbar Gaffney went there, Greg Coleman went there. So just a ton of players came out of there. And then you have Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio. For the beef eaters.
Yep. Just meat.
Is that still a thing?
I think it is. Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, you look at the pockets where kids are recruited, then you go look at like they had a graphic of where all the kids that were playing in the Super Bowl were from and spread across the country. I think this is where football was hotbed, and as football has changed in the last 15 years. Participation, talk about the concussions and all that. And it seems to be even more isolated in those areas where you're getting the talent from. I mean, South Florida had a bunch of teammates from Iowa and from the Vikes in South Florida. They teach you some stuff. You learn some things from those boys. Yeah, it's fun to go to meet these different kids where they come from.
You caught a stray of positivity earlier this week in Fairmont, Minnesota. Fairmont, which is quite close to Iowa. Yeah, 11 miles from the border or whatever.
Off I-90.
Yeah, this was a Holly production. And so I was speaking in Fairmont. And when I got done, this guy came up super excited, probably in his 40s. And he's like, I've had Iowa Hawkeyes season tickets for 30 years.
Let's go.
Tell Chad Greenway is my all-time favorite player.
Let's go.
So how about that? You caught a stray of positivity.
That rarely happens. I thought this was going down another direction.
That's pretty sweet, man. I mean, real. Your reaction was underwhelming. I mean, you must get praised and patted on the back.
Oh, as soon as I walk in the door, my wife adoration and praise.
Seriously, somebody said, I've had Iowa Hawkeye season tickets for 30 years. A lot of players have played there over 30 years.
Yeah.
And Chad Greenway is my all-time favorite player. Oh. They're like, that's really kind.
Yeah, it's really kind. Thank you very much.
Talk about that. All right, 3-2. Does South Dakota have anything, and this is not a shot at South Dakota.
It sounds like it might be starting that way.
Embrace Church in Sioux Falls, led by Pastor Adam Weber. Go crazy. Love all of you.
Know them.
So this is not a South Dakota shot, but does South Dakota have anything like this state high school hockey tournament? I mean, like anything close? Like what's big with SD?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not based off population. The biggest thing I grew in a Class B school, so small school. So state Bs were the biggest thing growing up. As everybody go to Aberdeen.
Yeah,
I think it's called the Hub City.
Right.
And every town empties, because they're all small towns, 400 to 1,000 people in the town, and they all disappear and go to state Bs when you make it.
Okay.
I made it once, got to play in it once, watched it several times.
That's sweet.
You fill up that venue. The name is escaping me right now.
Cow Palace?
But nope, that's not it.
What's the Cow Palace?
It's where Northern State plays up in Aberdeen.
Northern State. And Parker Fox of the Gophers started his run there 17 and 18.
Yep, exactly.
And he's on the show today about an hour.
Yeah, so that's kind of the biggest thing from my childhood growing up. That was the place to be, the thing to do, no doubt.
Is a spearfish in South Dakota?
Yes, western South Dakota, Black Hills.
Right, I love it there, and I bring it up because our mutual friend Spearfish Sammy, in Sammy Newton.
Yep.
Left-handed dribble, go crazy.
Legend.
My man's good off the dribble.
Yeah. Can't shoot jumpers, though.
Luther Hippie, he used to run operations for the Minnesota Vikings.
Sioux Falls Lincoln.
Okay, Sioux Falls Lincoln?
Yeah, Mr. Basketball.
Right.
Yep.
And I didn't know all that, and I'd known Luther.
Yep.
I think it's Chanhassen or Chaska go crazy right now. I had known him for a long time and we were...
Tonka, actually.
The Vikings were playing the Cowboys, I think, or somebody... Way, way back, I think before you. And there was a basketball court or something. And so we're shooting a little bit. And I'm like, damn, my man can shoot. Holy cow, look at that crossover. So then, it wasn't Dallas. No, then we were in Dallas in 2019 and staying away from Dallas at some type of golf resort. And they had this full gym and everything. So Spearfish Sammy and I went in there and shot and played a little bit and everything. I'm like, what are they doing here in South Dakota?
We can play, man.
Holy cow. You guys got some basketball talent up in there, don't you?
I grew up 10 miles away, 12 miles away from Mike Miller. So Mr. Basketball, former Timberwolf, Grizzly.
One of the
top 5.
And I think I've shared this with you before, because you've said that before. And I'm a Mike Miller fan. Is one of the smoothest, silky smooth, cool games over the last 25 years of basketball.
Yes, and just jumper, it's in the dictionary definition of jumper. That's what he has.
But with Mike Miller, you remember him either with the Grizzlies and the Sixers. Yeah, okay. So here's the deal. So Mike Miller had amazing hops. My man would streak down the key and dunk on humanity.
Yeah,
and then he would hit threes.
Yeah,
with that silky smooth game. So then, he's later in his career and the Wolves trade for him and he gets here and all he does is pass.
Yeah. I always love that.
Bro, why are you trying to get
you to shoot
10 assists? I want to see some of these right-handed Kendall Gill dunks.
Was he drafted by Magic, maybe?
Yeah.
Magic, Grizzlies, Wolves, Heat.
Yeah,
won a title down in the Heat.
He had a transformation in his life, clearly, where he's like, I'm done taking, and I now want to give. I don't want you to give. I want to watch you dunk.
And then hit the 3 down in the Heat with no shoe on.
What was it like growing up on a pig farm? And I knew you grew up on a Mount Vernon farm, but until I watched the bank commercial last night, I didn't know it was a pig farm.
Yeah.
Now I know it's a pig farm.
You talking about the Minnesota pork?
Is that what you were doing?
Yes.
Yeah. That was sweet.
It was for Minnesota Pork.
Yep.
And
where'd you guys film that?
Love working with. Filmed it at the ETS location in Plymouth, and on site at a place called Wakefield Pork down in Gaylord, Minnesota.
Is it the first Gaylord, Minnesota, home of Mike Max?
Nailed
crazy.
It. Exactly.
Is that the first commercial you've started radio or TV saying, I'm Chad Greenway, but then I grew up on a pig farm.
Yeah, I think that's the first time.
I'm like, hey.
Listen, I wear that on my sleeve. I love that conversation because that's where a lot of people come from. Come from places where I came from. It's rural. It's farming. It's corn, soybeans. It's ag in the Midwest, and something I'm super proud of. And not only that, but you think back to my career and how I got my start and how I think and how I operate. It's all because of watching my parents toil and fail and struggle and then figure it out and the farm life. And then to have all these obligations and responsibilities as a 10-year-old boy to drive the farm truck to go do all these things and to get it done the right way or because dad was going to come check on it and figure it out yourself. So think back on all those things and that our small town is just the best way to grow up.
But small town or not, just the era, the age. Think about creating fun then on a pig farm compared to kids now creating fun either in a small or a big town and what goes into it.
You go out and walk in the woods and build tree forts and hit rocks with, sticks and then
have rock skipping contests on lakes or rivers.
Yeah, you're going bullhead fishing. I mean, just all sorts of stuff. You're fishing and you're walking around and you try to stay out of trouble and have freedom, no cell phone attached. It was the best.
Bam. I'm guessing Chad Greenway or those within the Mount Vernon Covenant didn't get home from school at 2:45, right up to their room, close the door, come out for dinner for 20, back to the room, close the door, and then you look at the cell phone bill. It's like Google.
No, it was get home from school. Either you have sports, or if you're older and you go straight to chores, and then you do chores until essentially it's no longer light, and you have supper at about 9.
Right, about 9.
About 9.
When pigs get mad, how do they act?
They can be, if they're confined pigs, so they're sort of all together and you're trying to raise them to sell them. Mm-hmm. They're a little more docile. When you take a pig outside, you raise like dry lot hogs or outside pigs, they do turn a little more aggressive and protective. I think it's more of their natural, obviously, instinct and habitat. So, but they can get a little ornery. Get a little aggressive. And
the reason yours truly has a farming bent with you early in the equation is one of two things. You're all wrapped up in Providence Academy basketball and Kentucky Wildcats women's basketball and everything going on in your covenant. So to ask you about certain facets of the draft or free agency, this is the marathon segment. We'll save that for the shorty. I saw the pig commercial, and earlier in the week with the Holly production, in Fairmont, I had the privilege of speaking to, please don't mess this up, Paul, State Line Co-op. State Line Co-op. Yep. Okay. There's a man named Chad who set it up. Super cool. And Kelly. And it was really, really cool because, I know so much about farming. I'm an elite agronomy mind.
Why didn't they hire me?
From Washington, D.C.? Because you charge too much. I've undercut you 13 times already in 2025.
You know that's not true. They want the Vox. Give me a break.
And that's going to be awesome, especially when the 1099 comes.
I always love that.
All right, 3-2. But I'm not an elite political mind. So, like, I've heard tariffs. I know about tariffs. I follow it relatively closely. I didn't really understand like tariffs and farming until I got there an hour early and I started talking with a bunch of farmers and holy cow. It's just what goes into so much with like biblically speaking in the book of Revelation, there's a wonderful metaphor laid out about birth pains and like bad, bad, bad. Okay, I'm cool. Bad, bad, bad. Okay, I'm cool. And I kind of got that feeling with the modus operandi or the steadfast outside of the unpredictability of the weather, which is obviously a common thread for a farmer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's number one, right?
Number one.
Because you can't control it.
Yeah.
Okay, it was the, productivity costs and crops, but beef and, bad. And then, but beef, good. And then, so like some pains and then some relief and pains and relief. But farmers, man, my level of respect, I had a lot of respect for the blue collar nature of the farmer and God gave me the working gene. So I ain't afraid to work and neither are my kids. So I have a high level of appreciation for that. But you just learn so much about hard work and family lineage. So like, when I was posed with a question about blessings or something, and I had researched about certain crops are way down, the cost of productivity and stuff, and just putting things together.
Input cost.
Thank you.
There you go.
Well, that's no matter if the crop's bountiful or not, it's high.
It's still there. Yeah,
it's still there. And then the unpredictability of the weather and the ups and the downs and the birth pain analogy and everything. But at the end of the equation, what hit me was you do this, how many people here with the State Line Co-op gala are you're doing this because it's a family farm. Well, the majority of the hands went up, and I'm like, okay, well, if the weather's bad and beef's good, but this crop's bad and the productivity ain't stopping, it doesn't look like it's stopping, and there's terrorism. Grandpa's proud of you.
Yeah.
And that's why you do it.
Right.
That's the, like, if you're looking for the down deep motivation when you think everything sucks, but you know it's going to get better, it's because Grandpa started this 70 years ago and you're continuing it. And looking down from heaven, I bet you he's super proud.
Yeah, that's exactly, you nailed it. I mean, you nailed just the insight of how they look at that.
Tom West helped.
That's how, yeah, I bet he did. That's how I grew up. I mean, both grandparents were farmers. My parents were both the oldest siblings of those families. They married each other, went to high school together. They start their own farm. That's all they ever wanted to do. And I asked my dad before he passed about like what was the motivation? Like, why did you never want to go do this or go to college or get a degree and do something different? He's like, I always want to be my own boss.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be able to, whatever I sow, whatever is what I'm going to reap. And all the work I put in is going to be for me and not pay for somebody else. And that's about building something bigger. And that's just what our whole community is kind of thrives on and believes in. And you'd love to see it just continue to extend past. Now it's like, who's going to take over the farm next?
Right.
Going to be the next generation.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I sensed that is a major talker within the covenant.
It just sort of,
It is. And again, I'm not old guy, get off my lawn, but it's a generational talker where when Grandpa started that bad boy in the 50s or 60s, there were fewer things to do, fewer distractions, certainly no phones, no social media. And families, they were the same, but there was it was different in that because there are more options and things to do now.
That was your workforce then, and your kids.
Right. And I would guess it mostly still is. I just think there's a little more pushback now, with, hey, this is great. And Grandpa, I love Grandpa, but I want to go do this, so that's, it was very interesting.
Yeah. There's a big, you can't make enough to keep everybody in the covenant.
Yeah.
How do you keep everybody there where they can raise a family and have a family? So then people have to leave the farm and some people stay. And then there's some of those family dynamics. It gets really interesting as you keep moving forward.
I've been meaning to ask you this for a couple of weeks. What do you think of Georgia Amore's game? 18 points per game, 7 assists a game, a steal a game.
Yeah, she's real good.
And she's real good, isn't she?
Yeah, she's very good.
Right. Last year, right?
This is her last year.
Her final year.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, Kentucky plays today, SEC tournament.
Do you and Madden watch Wildcat games as a family?
Yeah, when we can.
That's
absolutely.
Cool. Right, so are they readily available, like SEC Network?
SEC Network, ESPN has a deal, so we watch them on there. We watch them if they're on national TV, and you start to see yourself be there, right? And that's what she's doing now.
I mean, with Kentucky Wildcats women's basketball, I got all their albums all of a sudden.
You? Okay. Let's
Georgia
go.
Amore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the website. I'm following the thing.
Yeah.
The Madden is going to play with a sophomore center named Claire Stack. Now, this young lady, 15 points a game, she's a sophomore, 9 rebounds a game.
How many blocks, though?
Almost 3 a game. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You can't get by Claire Stack.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she'll be a senior when Madden gets there, which is going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, she will?
Yes.
Oh, so
Madden's a junior.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I thought Madden's going to be a freshman next year. This girl's a sophomore.
Madden is a junior in high school.
Oh.
She's got 1 year left here in old Minnesota.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, my bad. I thought she was a senior. My bad. Damn.
Sometimes I'd like her to be a senior.
So you got that commitment already settled with a year to go?
Sometimes I'd like her to be a senior and get out of here. She's a pain in my butt.
That's covenant clap.
She's expensive,
that's cool.
too.
But you know what? You need her to work on that left-handed dribble. She's out in that driveway for 2 hours.
That's right.
That's all that matters at this moment. Coach Kenny Brooks. Well, you know what? We could probably save all this for this time next year, but their coach is Kenny Brooks. And what was, have you met him?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you have. What was interesting about him is he's James Madison sports immortality. All right. He's in the James Madison Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Which begs the question, are you in the Iowa Athletics Hall of Fame?
That's a no.
What?
Not in.
How? I mean, what, I got 6 people in there?
No, they got a bunch.
How are you not in?
I don't know. I don't ask those questions. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, for it not to bug you doesn't surprise me, and that's fine. But I when I crafted it, I was like, for sure, like you would be in there for sure. Like what football players are in there? Riley Reeve?
No.
Damn. Liddell Betts?
Robert Gallery is in. It's the consensus first team All-Americans.
Now, Robert Gallery on the offensive line, when he was healthy, that's badass of all badasses right there.
Yeah, Adrian Claiborne is in. He's a defensive end. Dallas Clark. I don't know if
you say Bob Sanders is not in, that's college football sacrilege.
Yeah, Bob Sanders better be in. I don't know that.
There's a ton of names in here.
You haven't pulled up? Bob Sanders better be in. It could be under DeMonde Sanders.
Bob Sanders is in.
If I hear the name Abdul Hodge,
Nope,
and I don't hear Chad Greenway.
No,
we got
Abdul's
a big
not
problem.
in. We got to go in together if we go
This
in.
must be based on time because it's not alphabetical, but most recently, Eric Steinbach,
Yeah.
Dallas Clark, Ed Podolak, Frank Holbrook, Leroy Smith, Jeremy Allen, Bob Sanders, Jared DeVries, David Joseph Height, Robert Gallery, Norton,
We're on the
Kading.
Gs.
Oh, Nate Kading.
Yeah.
Craig
Cato.
Clemens, Brad Banks. And then there's a ton of names that I don't even recognize.
You remember
Andre Tippett?
Stud.
Linebacker, right? Yeah, edge guy, Patriots.
Massive.
Phenomenal.
Stud.
Paul Krause, of course.
Nate Kading. Do you happen to quick twitch remember the absolute worst moment of his National Football League career? Because you were at the game.
ACL opener in San Diego.
2011.
Yep.
Okay, so here's what happened. Start the season, and boom. And Percy Harvin.
Bob Sanders was on that team, too, by the way.
Was he?
Yes.
Right at the end of his career?
Yes.
Percy Harvin returns the opening kick for a touchdown. On a play, Nate Kading rips his ACL. He's done for the year.
I always love
Let me
that
get this straight. I kicked one ball, it went to the house, and I'm done for the year.
Fun year.
It's the worst situation ever. All right.
He's like the mayor of Iowa City now.
This is Chad Greenway, courtesy of Grey Duck Vodka and Grey Duck Spirits. More about which to chat, including some Timberwolves stuff and some NFL stuff with Chad Greenway. And as part of the Timber Tech What's on Deck set list, here they come. Kevin Gorg is doing a wonderful, wonderful analysis of the state high school hockey tournament. And Senor Spotty joins 18 minutes from now. He's followed by Adam Schefter. Yes, that Shefty. He's on 9 to noon today at about 10:03. Parker Fox of the Gophers basketball team follows him. And Alec Lewis will go Ernie Banks on it, and he'll play 2 at KFAN today from the power trip to 9 to noon at 11:03. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Thank you very much for choosing FM 100.3 KFAN, the sports leader.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Programming on the Fan brought to you in part by Steve's Appliances.
It just drives me absolutely batty.
What are you trying to insinuate?
Come on!
Yeah! Double doink.
Time for 2 more.
Just listen. You like that?
Now, what did I do wrong?
This is your I have no idea who Virgil is. Leader, the fan, and KFAN.com. Good morning. Chad Greenway, Grey Duck Vodka, Grey Duck Spirits. Oh, yeah. Kenny Brooks, last thing on the Kentucky women's college basketball coach. He took Virginia Tech to the Final Four a couple years ago. I'm sure you know that, right?
Yes.
He played at James Madison.
Yes.
This is going to trip you out. For a coach named Lefty Drizel. Mm-hmm. I went to Lefty Drizel's basketball camp in 1978 at age 12 in Maryland.
Let's go.
He was coach of the Maryland Terrapins.
Yeah, stud.
And there were two basketball camps when I started playing. One led by Maryland Terrapins coach Lefty Drizel. Now that was a time where Ralph Sampson played for Virginia, and then you eventually got into Mitch Kupchak, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Michael Jordan for North Carolina. Yeah. But a guy who was a little bit older than me, he was in the other camp, which was in D.C. proper, put on by a high school named DeMatha High School, and high school basketball coaching immortality Morgan Wooten. Yep. Yours truly didn't qualify for that camp.
I always loved that.
I went to Lefties.
Yeah.
Because there were some high-enders in the D.C. area.
Madden went to the Wooten camp, which is now in Vegas.
Morgan Wooten?
Yeah. He was not there.
Right.
I think
he's dead.
Yeah, I'm guessing he passed away. But
so
his family still runs the Wooten camp, and that's in Vegas now.
Wow.
Which is fun.
So does that mean
went last year?
To qualify, do you have to have one of those one of those sneaky dinners with Jerry Tarkanian and Richard the Fixer Perry at the Italian spot Piero's.
I didn't know that.
Always loved that.
I didn't know that going into it, but it ended up happening. So
holy cow. Okay, yeah. So Lefty Drizel go crazy. Do you think the Wolves are going to be a factor in the Western Conference playoffs? And good morning.
And good morning. You know, I was starting to think that they were going to be, and dare I say, when Randall was out, it felt like things were starting to come together. Some new blood was getting some minutes and some excitement, and they're figuring out ways to win. And then Randall comes back, and there's a lot of excitement in that game, and a lot of energy, and
they've won 3 in a
plays. And I'm starting to believe that they could be. I still have to believe. I still have to see, though, how's this whole thing going to work?
Right.
And when he catches in the high post, man, he's good. But man, love for that thing to be kicked out to some shooters.
Right.
And
but see, it's starting to.
It is.
Julius Randle, after they beat the Charlotte Owls, just had a quasi-emotional post-game bit where he was kind of like, I sat out for a month and I gave myself a little bit to sulk. But then, when I'm watching it on television, the road games, and it's crazy because they watch so much all 10 and they watch so much film, but they don't, Alice, they all 10. They're breaking down the all 10, man.
It's all 22 guys.
Yeah, they got the cowboy remote going back and forth, looking at Zach Edey pull a sled with Andre Drummond. And he said, why? And this was just crazy. But I mean, it just shows how old dogs can be taught new tricks out of nowhere. He's like, after watching all these things on TV, I just really gained a high level of I'm paraphrasing. I'm just going to say it more directly than he said it. A high level of appreciation for the pace of play and the sharing that they had, that I was just kind of missing. That, the pace was just, I needed to see some things. Well, now he gets back and they haven't lost and he can pass. And so things tightened up.
Yeah.
So with him coming back. Now they've won 3 in a row. They have the Miami Heat this evening. I think it's a 7:00 game against Bam Adebayo. Kentucky Wildcats go crazy. Tyler Hero on that team too. And if they can get by, this is going to be a toughie tonight. Even without Jimmy the Bulldog playing for the Heat, it's just tough beating Eric Spoelstra and some players who have a day to rest. If the Wolves can get this one tonight for 4 in a row, then they have San Antonio Sunday at home, winnable. I'm not kidding you, man. I mean, there's an Indiana in there, and when Halliburton's upright and Turner's playing with Neesmith and Nembhard and everything, they're a good squad. I don't think they're an NBA championship squad, but they're a pesky squad. So you got that one in there, and it might be on the road, or it's here maybe. But they may be sitting on an 11-game winning streak. I'm not kidding you, man, because you got New Orleans twice in there. They got New Orleans back-to-back at home.
Yep.
Thank you, schedule maker. You got now you got the Pistons coming here. Pistons were red hot, got humbled by James Harden the other night. And I think there's a regression to a mean that's coming for Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. That'll be a tough one, too. But it's getting out of that play-in thing.
Yep.
Golden State now with Butler playing with Steph and Draymond, and they're engaged, and they know how to win, and they're tough. Well, they're a factor all of a sudden. Yep. They're like right around us. Clippers are right around us. If Kawhi plays with Harden and Zubats, who's never had a better season, the center, and some other guys, the Clippers, the Western Conference, OKC is the target at which to shoot. Ain't no doubt. But the Western Conference is muddled and it's muddied, and it's kind of up for the taking if you ain't afraid of OKC.
Yeah, and I think you want to get out of that play in, but it's going to depend on how Randall fits into this second half, right? And if he's going to play ball that way, he's going to get his 20 and 10. But because of opportunities and the ball's moving, he's going to get that spot.
But the starting spot of him recognizing, hey, when I watched, this was happening, and this was happening, and now I'm back, and it needs to continue to happen.
And that's step one. At the end of the day, all you need out of him is to play team ball and have to, and the want to win, supersede anything else.
Right.
What you love to see in the playoffs is his physicality, his ability to rebound, his ability to have a little bit of a mean streak, a little aggressive, kind of fits into what we need.
My man got an edge.
And he's got a big-time edge that is going to be really good for us if you get there.
Yep.
And I think, like you said, step one is him recognizing who's to say if that fit now works that we can't go do something. And coming off of last year and the excitement of Western Conference, like everyone wants to be back there. The trade happens, all this, the ups and downs. But if they get on the rails now, and this is all figured out, you feel good about it.
But in closing, I mean, you've watched so much basketball and played basketball. You know at that level, the pick and roll isolation factor it's everything the final 5 minutes of games. And just think about this: if you can craft this thing, and with Edwards, you can be in any game with Anthony Edwards. If you can keep that sucker close against anybody in the final 5, 4, 3 minutes, and you can play the pick your poison game with, okay, go ahead and double the bully down by the block because he's going to go to the line. Okay, go ahead and double the superstar. He's going to kick it, and somebody's going to be open. The isolation / pick and roll game, but specifically the ISO game with Randall and Edwards in big spots. Holy cow, that could be good.
And then it's going to come down to what? Kicking the shooters and those guys making shots, right? The other
You're
guys.
You're going to have to.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to come down to, guys hitting shots in big spots. When you get that stuff taken away and the two-man game's taken away, and all of a sudden you're hitting into a corner three, and that's the NBA game.
Is there anything with Grey Duck we need to know?
Nothing new, nothing
chilling?
Flashy, nothing exciting, except that the Grey Duck deck is back when the Twins come here in about a month. Releasing and launching a Bomba Pack Seltzer variety pack. So three flavors now.
Wow.
Which would be big time. Our Bomba juices are our most popular flavor by far, the strawberry lemonade. We're going to have 2 more flavors coming out. It's going to be bad. You're
making plays.
That'll be making plays. We're playing fast. We're making plays. We're seeing the next level. Seeing that cross court skip pass for the open 3.
Ain't no doubt. Bless you, brother, and your family. Enjoy your weekend. See you soon.
See you soon.
That's Chad Greenway. Let's analyze the state of hockey in the state of hockey with Kevin Gorg. He will join us around the corner on KFAN.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And he's
P.A.
And he's
K.G.
Hello, Spotty. How are you?
I'm great, PA. Standing in the empty for now Excel Energy Center, getting ready for all the madness that semifinal Friday should provide today and tonight.
Kevin Gorg at Gorgomatic21 via Twitter, at Gorgomatic21 via Twitter. Please follow him if you are so inclined. The Minnesota High School hockey tournament continues today, as Senor Spotty just mentioned. St. Cloud Cathedral and Orono at 11. Hibbing, East Grand Forks after that. And tonight, AA, St. Thomas Academy, Stillwater, Edina, and top-seeded Moorhead. And let's begin here. How much fun are you having, my brother, working these high school hockey games? What a joy to watch on TV.
It is so cool. This tournament still has all the juice it ever has. To me, the magic about this tournament is the kids. It's their dream being realized from the time they started playing hockey when they were 6 or 7. They thought about trying to get here, and now it's happening. And then you get the bands and all the pomp and circumstance in the building. It's just an incredible event, and it's still just as much fun now as it was when I started coming over 50 years ago.
Hey, Spot, we have some phone-related terrorism. We're going to call you right back. Kevin Gorg, FanDuel Sports Network at XL Energy Center. That was getting a little choppy up in here. And this is a state high school hockey tournament conversation. So, therefore, it's incredibly important. And we need to have a proper phone connection. As yours truly continues to think about Sunday night and my NBA Minnesota Timberwolves play-by-play debut with a Kevin Lynch by my side. I feel it behooves me to remind you, Keldon Johnson played at Kentucky with Toronto's Emmanuel Quickley and Miami's Tyler Hero. And Jeremy Sohan was the 9th overall pick in the 2022 draft out of Baylor, and he shoots one-handed free throws, per the suggestion of Greg Popovich a couple of years ago. But more on that later, or maybe never. And Senor Spotty rejoins. You good, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know what happened. Again, sometimes you get down here, maybe I was in the wrong part of the rink, so I moved a little bit. It sounds like Gordo's got us dialed in.
Kevin?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, 3-2. Edina nipped Rogers in an epic contest. Let's begin with the goalies. Rogers, Wyatt not with the save of the day, maybe save of the year, end of regulation, left pad. And Edina's Chase Bjorgard was just outstanding. What did you see?
Well, yeah, for Bjorgard, what a story. He kind of split time throughout the season and took over late in the year. And I thought he was really solid when Rogers got to their game in the middle part of that contest. But you mentioned the not save. And, when you're a kid and you're out maybe playing road hockey, you dream of that moment. You try to think about that moment where everything's on the line. It's the end of regulation. The clock is counting down, and you make that ridiculous SportsCenter type of save. Something he'll never forget. And I know overtime didn't end the way he and his teammates wanted, but that was just spectacular. That's what makes this tournament so much fun. It's just like March Madness in basketball. It's the magic of one and done, the magic of that one big play, that shining moment, as we always talk about. That was his. But give Edina credit. Rogers is one of the real powers in the state, top ranked throughout most of the year. They're going to be here for a lot of years. But Edina has that poise. They've got Kurt Giles. They don't make mistakes. They play a smart game. And last night, they just seemed to stay to the task, keep it low scoring, and make a play when it counted. They created a turnover, and they cashed it in. Beautiful goal by Pitsy on that play. And watch out tonight against Moorhead. Again, Spud's heavily favored, but do not sleep on the Hornets.
Chase Bjorgard is a big kid, very good at football as a running back, very good at baseball, and he's undefeated this year. We had a hamstring injury for the kid, so I think he's 10-0-1 this year. Kevin, by the way, for those who don't know, won a state title mid-'80s for Burnsville as a goaltender. So you're an elite hockey / goaltending mind. When you see Chase play, what do you like?
I like the way he competes. So much of the game now for this position, PA, is trying to get to your spots. And with the bigger bodies around that net, we see it all the time at the NHL level, but now these high school kids are getting bigger and stronger. You've got to get out and get into position. And he does that so confidently. You can see the athletic ability that you just referenced come out in the way that he plays the game. He craves contact, and that's not normal for a lot of goalies. A lot of times when they're getting bumped and there's people around their crease, that gets them into a position where they panic. That's the opposite of what Bjorgard showed in that game last night. Like his hockey team, he just seemed to be very calm in a very tense situation, and that bodes well.
And with that, Kevin Gorg has saved $5,000 off MSRP on a Ford F-150 from Metropolitan Ford and MetropolitanFord.com.
I always love that one.
Moorhead, it seemed, didn't break a sweat until the middle of the game, then shot by a very gritty Lakeville South squad. So the defending champs take on top-seeded Moorhead tonight. I really liked how you laid things out in the Edina Rogers game, where you're like, Rogers is super fast. They want to play racehorse hockey and win 5-4 or 5 whatever. But it's 0-0 end of 1, and this thing's going the way Edina wants to play, and it finished that way. What about style of play tonight between the defending champs and the one?
Well, and they played twice during the regular season. Moorhead got them both times, and Moorhead scored a bunch of goals. I think one of those games was a 6-3 win, so I don't think it's going to be any different for Edina. They want the tempo or the pace of the race to be to their style, which is a tight-checking, low-penalty type of game where it's a 3-2 or 2-1 type of contest. They're not going to be able to go out there and outscore Moorhead and win a 6-5 game. That is not likely going to be their best mode of operation. And for Moorhead, they want to keep the pace going. I thought they got away with a night where they probably didn't defend the way they're supposed to. They gave Lakeville South all kinds of grade A chances in the first half of that hockey game. But to their credit, they were able to adjust and get better as it went on. It is not easy to come back halfway through a game down 4-2. And I looked at a Moorhead team that probably started to get a little wrapped up in all the social media chatter where everybody was saying, well, Section 1's terrible. This is the free space and the bingo card. There's no such thing when you get to a one-and-done situation in a tournament. And hopefully they learn their lesson because they're a brilliant team. They've got talent up and down that roster. And, I think if they play their game the rest of the way, they are absolutely the team to beat. But they can't play like they did last night defensively.
St. Thomas Academy in Stillwater, sources indicate you are on the ponies because you work at Canterbury Park. Is that true?
I always love that one.
I do love a good horse. But, yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the hottest team coming into the tournament, it wasn't Moorhead, wasn't Edina. It was the Stillwater Ponies. They have been playing unbelievable hockey. They are a big team. They're a fast team. They're a deep team. And if you just watch the opening games of these tournaments, just the quarterfinal games alone, they by far made the greatest impression. They look awesome. Greg Zanin, Thomas Vanek on the bench. I think that's pretty cool. Our dear friend Al Spalock, the goaltending coach, they're going to be a handful. And I got a ton of respect for St. Thomas. They've got a great team. They've been awesome all year. But Stillwater, if they play the way they did yesterday throughout the weekend here, I don't care who you are, including Moorhead, they're going to be a very, very tough out.
What jumps out with single A?
Well, with single A, to me, it's the matchup later this afternoon. I think St. Cloud Cathedral likely holds serve in the first game, and it's really fun to have both them and Edina, the defending champs, going here into the weekend. But that matchup of East Grand Forks and Hibbing, to me, it takes me back to watching hockey in the 70s and 80s. Speedy, gritty, old-school guys. You've got players on Hibbing with the mullets and the mustaches. Keep an eye on number 3. I love this kid. He's one of those guys that looks like he literally came out of Starsky and Hutch back in like the late 70s. Got everything cooking. They're physical. Both these teams like to grind it out. They're rink rats, BA. To me, that game's going to be an absolute war. I think it's going to be a terrific game. And St. Cloud Cathedral, with the high-end talent, likely gets by Orono. That sets up what could be a great championship Saturday.
You're a pro team for Kevin Gorg at Gorgomatic 2-1 to close. So Wild for a second trade deadline day. Lauko and Hustadinov to Boston for 6'5" winger Justin Brazo. What do you think?
Well, he's a big kid. He's 6'6". He can skate a little bit. He's got double-digit goals this year. I know Billy Guerin wanted to get bigger and stronger before the playoffs. I know that was a priority. And, certainly tough to lose a couple of energy guys, a couple of speedy players like Hustadinov and Lauko. But if you're looking at where this team wants to go, and they've got a lot of question marks between now and the middle of April when we get there, you're going to have to be a big, strong, rugged team. And he certainly can help in that regard. Net front presence. You can put him out in the power play and let him go out there and clog things up in the middle. You know what? It's a little bit right now like the Wild are certainly treading lightly to see what's going to happen with Kaprizov, Ek, and Brodin. If they know for sure one of these guys will not be available until the playoffs, then Billy could get really aggressive and do the old Vegas Golden Knight trick where you put them on season-ending LTIR and go out and spend that money that's requisite to what their money is because the Wild are up against the cap. If not, then you hope that those 3 guys can absolutely get healthy in time for round 1. That gives you an enormous bump, and then you move forward. But it is tough when you see Brock Nelson going to Colorado. Now this morning, Mikko Rantanen going to Dallas. These are trades that really affect the division, the Western Conference, and specifically our favorite team because the path to the Cup goes through both those cities, and both those teams got immensely better here in the last 24 hours.
See you in the Dark Star press box one of these days soon, okay?
Sounds like a plan, PA.
See you, bud. Kevin Gorg, who is doing TV work for Channel 5 during the state high school hockey tournament. Don't forget, on KFAN The Plus and or KFAN, you can listen to Zach Halverson do fantastic work on play-by-play, as yours truly did last night. Speaking of fantastic work, Adam Schefter is an ESPN senior NFL insider, and Shefty joins 9 to noon now.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Don Wildman, and on American History Hit, my expert guests and I journey across the nation and through the years to uncover the stories that have made the United States. From first flight to first ladies, from stitching the Star-Spangled Banner to striking gold in California to shooting for the moon with Apollo. We've got you covered. Catch new episodes of American History Hit, a podcast by History Hit, every Monday and Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.